What's going on, everybody? And welcome back to another episode of the Chatting with Cheeze podcast. I'm your host, Fat Cheeze, and y'all already know the motto: no gimmicks, only the real. And this is episode 64. Y'all know what I need from y'all, man. Smash that subscribe button. We are now on our way to 400 subscribers. Also, do not forget to like this video and share the content when it is released. And let's go ahead and jump right into it, man. So the biggest storyline headed out of this past Sunday's football games was the Dallas Cowboys losing to the Carolina Panthers. And the biggest question coming out of that game was, how could your offense put up 27 points and you find a way to still lose that game to a Carolina Panthers team that's still trying to find their way? So the biggest question was, you seen what the offensive side of the football went out there and did. Dak Prescott had an amazing game. George Pickens had a great game. But the defensive side of the ball has been a talking point since week 1, and it continues to be a talking point after this loss in week 6. So the topic that I have for us today is the Dallas Cowboys defense fixable at this point? So the Dallas Cowboys dropped to 2-3-1 on the season on Sunday with a 30-27 loss to the Carolina Panthers as calls grow for Jerry Jones to fire defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus. Dallas once again played well on offense. The Cowboys had 3 touchdown drives led by Dak Prescott and 2 made field goals by Brandon Aubrey. A 27-point outing is good enough to win a lot of NFL games, but it wasn't good enough for the Cowboys on Sunday. Dallas defense, which ranks near the bottom of the league in nearly every defensive category, could not stop Bryce Young, Rico Dowdle, and the Panthers offense. But as calls grew for the Cowboys to fire defensive coordinator, head coach Brian Schottenheimer announced a final decision post-game. Schottenheimer, who was in his first season with the Cowboys, defended his defensive coordinator, making it clear that he's sticking with him. Matt's a great coach, Schottenheimer said after the loss. I mean, Matt's a great coach. He's been around everywhere he's ever been. He's had good defenses. It's not just Matt by himself. You know, Matt's trying, players are trying. It's not a lack of effort. This is not that. The Cowboys defense has allowed 30 or more points in 4 of 6 games. On Sunday, they allowed 216 rushing yards, a season high. Schottenheimer knows they have to play better. Yeah, absolutely. No question about it, Schottenheimer said. We got to coach better. We got to play better. The first-year Dallas Cowboys head coach also believes that his players believe in Eberflus. That's a bigger question. I would think so. I would hope so, Schottenheimer said. What are we, 6 games in? Is that right, 6 games in? Yeah, I would think so. You know, we plugged one hole in the passing game a couple of weeks ago, right? Certainly, we shown the ability to run the football. We've shown the ability to stop the run, but there's a consistency that's not showing up. We got to be better, and it starts with me. It starts with the coaching staff to put these guys in the right position. Carolina got the ball with 6 minutes and 7 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter, and the Dallas offense never touched the field again. So my thoughts on this, and I'm sorry if I was long-winded about it, my thoughts on this, and I'm going to just answer the question the way it was presented. Do I believe the defense is fixable? I honestly don't. I had a rant after the game because I was so upset. But I believe that there's 2 major problems with this defense. I believe, one, the scheme is bad. I believe Eberflus doesn't know his personnel good enough to put guys in the right position to be able to go out there and make plays. And also, I believe that the Cowboys just doesn't have the talent on the defensive side of the ball to go out there and consistently make plays. Now, first, me speaking on Eberflus with the scheme, I just don't understand how you could sit on the sideline constantly. We're 6 weeks in, and you watch guys like Donovan Wilson go out there constantly and make poor coverage decisions, get burned constantly, trying to cover, run these zone schemes. You're constantly seeing him get burned, and you still decide to put him in the same position. You watch Kenneth Murray go out there, and he gets a bulk of the snaps at linebacker. He's constantly out of place. He's constantly, missing tackles, not being a good decision maker. But yet he's still the primary linebacker out there on the field. And not only is he the primary linebacker out there on the field, the biggest play of the game Matt Eberflus has his corner, Deron Bland, playing like 10 yards back off the ball on a 4th and 3, where he's hoping that Kenneth Murray, who all year has shown he's not been good, he's hoping that Kenneth Murray can get over to a spot in time to be able to deflect the ball or intercept the ball that they figure is going to come out quick on a slant route, whatever he thought was going to happen. It was a bad call. First of all, Kenneth Murray second-guessed himself. Why are you hopping, waiting to see what's going on in the backfield when they're in an empty set? There's no running back in the backfield or anything. So as soon as the ball is snapped, you got to go. But you should know that already. Like, this is the thing, and that's why I said, yes, is the scheme terrible? But I don't believe the Cowboys have the talent on the defensive side to even, make this thing remotely better. Trayvon Diggs has not been good this year. I believe Trayvon Diggs is still out there playing hurt. He's not been good. Deron Bland, since coming back, has not been good. The safety group is not good. Malik Hooker went down. They replaced him with Wanye Thomas. He hasn't been good. Donovan Wilson has been awful all year. The linebackers is not good. And then the defensive line. And it was so funny, right? Because after the Michael Parsons trade went down, and this is no knock against Kenny Clark, because I'm going to honestly say I believe that Kenny Clark has been the best player on the defensive side of the ball for the Dallas Cowboys. When the trade went down, you had Jerry and Steven and Will McClay get up there and say this move was made. Well, no, Will McClay wasn't there, so I'm not even going to throw him in it. Jerry and Steven got up on the podium and said the trade for Michael Parsons was done because even though everybody knows the truth why it was made, they said it was done to better help the run game, right? So weeks was going past and everybody was saying, well, the run game has gotten better. The run game has gotten better. The run defense have gotten better. The run defense is better since we added Kenny Clark. It wasn't that this Sunday didn't show that the running defense got better. Rico Dowdle was out there doing whatever he wanted to do. He was out there getting whatever holes opened up, pause like the Red Sea. He running through wide open holes. I'm talking about you could put a school bus through there. And the thing is, teams were just so easily able to throw the ball against the Cowboys all these weeks. They never really had to depend on their run. Chicago didn't have to depend on their run because they had guys running wide open downfield. The Giants didn't have to depend on their running game because they had guys running wide open downfield. Philly didn't have to depend on their run. Well, Jalen Hurts was getting off with his running, so I'm not even going to throw Philly in there. But it's like, how could you say this Sunday when the running defense was truly put to the test, you seen that the run defense is still bad. You seen it. You know what I'm saying? You seen it. And then for a guy like Rico Dowdle to come out and say the week prior, they better have their seat buckles on or whatever he said. Basically, y'all get ready because I'm coming at y'all hard. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all let me walk in free agency. Y'all didn't feel like y'all should have hung on to me. I'm gonna show y'all on Sunday. Y'all allowed a guy to come there to play y'all after saying that Jerry making jokes about Rico before the game or whatever the case may be, and y'all allow this man to come out there and have 200 yards. 200 yards. Y'all allowed 216 rushing yards after somebody told y'all to buckle up this upcoming week. Come on, man. Like I don't see. I mean, I really don't see. I want to say that the defense is fixable, but I don't see any bright spots. I don't see how anyone could watch these games and say that they see any type of bright spots or any way that they can get better. People was hooping and hollering over beating the Jets, and they got multiple sacks against the Jets. It's the Jets. The Jets are 0-6. The Jets are terrible. You know what I'm saying? And what really makes me so upset about all of this is that you have to listen to Steve. First of all, Jerry didn't speak after the game. Normally, Jerry want to talk after every game. He must have felt stupid and decided he didn't want to speak after this game for some reason. But he spoke today. But sitting back hearing Stephen Jones get on the phone with 105.3 The Fan and just say the most idiotic things that you can hear about it's early, the team they haven't jailed yet, we got to give it time, and these things take time. Bro, we 6 weeks into the NFL season. You had the off season, you had OTAs, you had mini camp, and you had all the training camp, and you had the preseason. And you mean to tell me we're 6 weeks into the NFL season and you saying that the defense still haven't gelled yet or not haven't fully grasped the concept of the defense that they playing in? Are you out your mind? And people are, how do you expect Cowboy fans to buy that? How do you expect them to buy that? It doesn't make sense. And then you got Jerry coming out today. At this point, I stopped listening to stuff Jerry said years ago. You got Jerry coming out trying to prop up the defensive line, saying that the defensive line could possibly is one of the best groups of the defense, and we could rotate guys and this and that. Bro, you have the worst defense in football. What are you talking about? And all you trying to do is save face because you know you made a mistake trading Micah Parsons. And people could make up all the defense still would be the same without Micah Parsons. Bro, Jerry made a mistake trading Micah Parsons. He let his ego get the best of him, and he didn't like the fact that Micah wasn't a pushover like all these other guys been when it came to these contract negotiations. And he decided to trade his best defensive player, a generational talent. I can guarantee you, if Micah Parsons was still a part of the Dallas Cowboys, this defense wouldn't look this bad. Would they be probably middle of the pack or something? Maybe. But they ain't gonna be dead last in damn near every defensive category. I know that. And all y'all out there talking about, well, Micah ain't good defending the run and this and that. Go look at Green Bay defense and see what they ranked as far as run defense right now with Micah Parsons over there. But y'all let Jerry spin these narratives and make it seem like Micah wasn't good. Come on, man. Stop it, man. Stop it. Jerry made a mistake and trade Micah, and he see it now because this defense is awful. And now all he do is, even when people don't bring it up, all he want to do is try to save face. Come on, man. This defense, they give up 30.7 points allowed per game, 32nd in the league. And total yards, allowed, 32nd in the league. Rushing first downs allowed, 32nd in the league. Third down conversion rate, 32nd in the league. Completion percentage allowed, 29th. Yards per play, 30th. The defense is terrible. But you get in front of these cameras and want to make it. Come on, man. We know what it is. You let your pride get the best of you, and you traded a generational talent, and now you regretting it because you can't stop nobody. And out of this whole thing, I want to give a shout out, and who I feel the most sorry for is Dak Prescott and George Pickens, because the way this front office is going to ruin to me, Dak Prescott's best season of his career. Dak Prescott has been playing out of his mind. In the last 3 games, Dak Prescott is 74 for 103, 72% completion percentage, 10 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. The Cowboys have scored 104 points in those 3 games. Dak Prescott has been playing on another level. And like I said before, it's like the easy and the cool thing to do is blame Dak Prescott for everything. But no quarterback besides Joe Burrow is in the position that Dak Prescott is in, to where every single time the offense gets on the field, they have to come away with some type of points or they're going to lose the ball game because the defense can't stop nobody. You can't tell me one quarterback in the NFL that's currently in the same type of situation that Dak Prescott is in. You can't name them. Every single time him and that offense get on the field, they have to score points. So now, when they do get out there and have a bad drive, shoddy throw a screen, and now is where the offense should play better. Bro, 27 points should win you a football game in the NFL. And not just Dak Prescott, George Pickens. Look at the way George Pickens has played. Look at the way he played against Green Bay. Look at the way he turned around and played against Chicago, even though he had that drop that led to an interception. But the offense was doing what they were supposed to do. Look at the way he played against the play he made against the Jets. And then to turn around and go against Carolina, 9 receptions, 168 yards for a touchdown. Made that amazing play leaping over the defender earlier in the game, and it squandered away because the defense can't stop nobody. It's just it's ridiculous, man. But like I said, I believe it's true. The reason why I believe this defense is not fixable is because The fact, I believe it's two things. I believe that Matt Eberflus, the scheme is terrible. He needs to go. The scheme is just bad. But I believe that they don't have the players either. So I believe it's two things, because I believe the scheme is bad and you don't have the players. So both things are messed up. You know what I'm saying? And so in my personal opinion, I don't believe it's fixable. I believe the only way that this team is going to be able to stay in games is if Dak Prescott goes out there and plays his tail off like he's been doing. The offense is going to have to score 30, 35 points a game in order for them to win. Now, CeeDee Lamb is reportedly supposed to be coming back this week. Kevontae Turpin is supposed to be back. Tyler Booker should be coming back. So the offense is getting more ammunition, but they're going to have to. The offense is going to have to put up 30 points a game in order for this team to win, because this defense can't stop nobody. They can't stop nobody. And I believe that the defensive coordinator, he doesn't know his own personnel. There's no way in the world you watch Donovan Wilson constantly falling in coverage, losing guys running wide open, and Donovan Wilson is still out there every single play on the defense. There's no way you sit and watch Kenneth Murray play the way he's played, and he's still out there every single time the defense is on the field. There's no way. You get no type of pass rush from nobody. All these guys that were supposed to step up in the midst of Micah getting traded, they haven't done it. Dante Fowler has been a no-show. Sam Williams hasn't played good, and he can't seem to go a game without making 2 or 3 mistakes, offsides and all type of stuff like that. Like I said, Osa got his money, and Osa has been a no-show. Osa looking like he got some funny money. You know what I'm saying? He stole. But I ain't going to say that too early, but I'm just saying how it looked. All I can do is call it for what I see. But, hey, man, we going to see, man, because guess what? They got a big task at hand coming this Sunday. I will be in attendance. You have the Washington Commanders coming to town, and you know Jaden Daniels and them going to try to air that thing out. And also, you know what he can do as far as his mobility and things like that. So, the road don't get no easier. So, we going to see what happens this week, see if they can tighten things up. Trust me, I'll be happy if they can, but I ain't banking on it. Moving on to the next topic, and this was something that I slightly spoke on my last episode, but it has officially been done. Penn State has fired head coach James Franklin. So I'm going to go ahead and give my thoughts on that and what I think about the whole situation. So Penn State has, and these are long notes, y'all, so hang in with me. I'm going to try to break them down and summarize as best as I can. Let me take a drink first real quick. I'm going to try to break them down and summarize the best that I can so I don't be long-winded on the notes. But let's get into it. Penn State has fired Coach James Franklin after 12 seasons, the school announced Sunday. Franklin is owed more than $49 million according to his contract. It's the second biggest buyout in college football history, behind only Jimbo Fisher's $76 million buyout from Texas A&M. Associate head coach Terry Smith will serve as the Nittany Lions interim head coach for the remainder of the season. The school said no other staff changes are expected at Penn State. Less than a year removed from an appearance in the college football playoff semifinals, Franklin's program appeared to hit a new low when the Nittany Lions traveled to Los Angeles 2 weeks ago, only to lose to UCLA, a team that not only was winless but hadn't previously held a lead all season. The Wolves flew back home with the team to Penn State, and with them came fire Franklin chants at Beaver Stadium on Saturday. The Nittany Lions dropped their second straight home game and third overall when they fell to Northwestern 22-21 in front of a stunned crowd at Happy Valley. With the 2 losses, Penn State became the first team since the FBS and FCS split in 1978 to lose consecutive games while favored by 20 or more points in each game. In Saturday's defeat to the Wildcats, the Nittany Lions committed 6 penalties for 71 yards in the first half alone. They simply couldn't get out of their own way, and that was before quarterback Drew Allar suffered a season-ending injury in the fourth quarter. Earlier in the season, when the losing streak began against Oregon at Happy Valley, Franklin fell to 4-21 at Penn State against AP top 10 opponents, including 1-18 against top 10 Big Ten teams in conference games. Franklin's .160 winning percentage against AP top 10 teams is tied for the third worst record by a coach, minimum 25 games at a single school since the Poe era began in 1936. Penn State's AD Pat Kraft opened up about the decision opened up about the decision to fire Franklin in a press conference on Monday. Kraft explained that his main motivation was to build the best program in the country, and Franklin apparently wasn't a part of those plans anymore. Kraft went on to describe his decision process behind letting Franklin go, and that he knew he was going to make the call Saturday night after Penn State's 22-21 loss to Northwestern. I'm going to be real transparent with you all, Kraft said. This was extremely, extremely difficult. It's been a very difficult 48 hours. I felt after Saturday sitting down and looking at everything that where we were and what was the best interest of my kids, my student athletes. You guys know I call our kid athletes my kids, and where the program was going, that this time we just had to make the hard decision. I was going to sleep on it on Saturday, but I knew it was right. It was the right course of action for us as a program, and more importantly for the team. Kraft did add that it wasn't just a 3-game thing, and that he was considering the big picture trajectory of the program. So before I get into the rest of this, I'm gonna just go ahead and get my thoughts on that. Like I said, I was a little long-winded, but I feel like the writing was on the wall for this situation. I think that if you had watched the way everything was playing out after the Oregon loss, I think for me, after the UCLA loss kind of had put the nail in it for me. But you can't go home and lose to Northwestern. And, you know, you can't really be mad at the program, because I feel like this season they gave James Franklin everything they wanted, everything that he wanted. You got your top quarterback. They were able to get guys to not go into the draft and come back. They were able to hit the transfer portal hard. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like that this was a win now. This was win now for him. They were already kind of letting him slide because he doesn't have a winning record against top 10 teams. We all knew that coming into this season. And coming from the college football, the preseason rankings, they were, I believe, number 2. They were top 5. I think they were number 2 behind Texas, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that, but I believe I'm correct. But for the season to be going the way that it has gone, after, you know, you've gotten the school to pour into the program, and they went out and got guys and was able to, you know, probably had to pay premium price to get guys to come over in the transfer portal, to get guys to stay instead of entering the draft in the NFL. You know, all those things. It's one thing to lose to Oregon, but you can't go on the road and lose to a winless UCLA team and then turn around and lose to a Northwestern team. You can't do that. Not with the guys that you have on this squad. You can't do it. So I think that the writing was on the wall, and I think, honestly, all in all, I think they made the right decision. I mean, you know, I've been looking lately, and ever since the move has been made, you've been seeing a lot of kids decommit that committed to Penn State, and you know that happens because, you know, they ultimately they committed to going to play for James Franklin. But you cannot keep for a team to be willing to pay a $50 million buyout to just to fire you. You know that it has to be a problem. You know that it has to be a problem. And for the AD to come out and say it wasn't just the 3-game thing, that means I feel like that there probably was things underlying in the whole situation that, you know, things just wasn't working. But the school and, you know, the people that represent that football program, you know, they poured into the program. They went all in. This was supposed to be the year after making the semifinals last year in the college football playoff. This was supposed to be the year that Penn State made it to the mountaintop. And for you guys to, like I said, one thing to lose to Oregon, but then turn around and go on the road and lose to UCLA, it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. Not with the talent that's supposed to be on this roster. And don't get me wrong, Drew Aller has been underwhelming to get well soon. I know he had a season in the injury, but Drew Aller has been, you know, he's been very underwhelming this season too. But at the end of the day, we all know how it goes. It falls on coaching. It falls on coaching. When we go out and get you all the people that you want and everything you say you need to have a successful program, at the end of the day, it falls on you. It falls on you. So, hey, you got to hold this one. So, it says here, Penn State ultimately gave James Franklin everything he had been asking for in just one offseason. The school bankrolled the nation's highest paid assistant coach with $3 million defensive coordinator Jim Knowles. They brought Jim Knowles over, I believe, from Ohio State. So they got him a solid assistant and defensive coach coordinator. Penn State University supporters stepped up in big ways in the NIL department to keep talented players like quarterback Drew Aller, running back Nicholas Singleton, and defensive end Danny Dennis Sutton for one more year rather than go to the NFL. In the spring, the Nittany Lions added Syracuse receiver Trebor Penna, one of the pricier receiver options in the portal, to what's been a disappointing receiver corps for years. It was all set up for this to be Penn State's last dance title run. Michigan and Ohio State provided the blueprint the last 2 seasons, and the Nittany Lions had all the resources on paper to make the same run a year after making it to the national semifinal. This was a title or bust kind of year. What Franklin and Penn State taught us is there's a price to going all in on a season. When you finally have everything you asked for with no excuses left, and you still don't perform as expected, then you're the problem. And I mean, ultimately, that's the conclusion that they came to. We gave you everything that you asked for. We got you the defensive coordinator. We were able to retain the players. We were able to bring in people, price your people. We poured into the program. So now, for us to pour into the program and watch it digress in front of us, then ultimately, you're the problem. You're the problem. You have to be the fall guy. Even if maybe it wasn't all you, but you have to be the fall guy. Somebody has to take the fall for this, and it's James Franklin. So at the end of the day, like I said, I feel as though the writing was on the wall for this whole situation. I knew that after hearing those kids and those fans chant to fire him on Saturday, I knew it was but so much longer. I didn't think maybe it would happen mid-season. I was thinking maybe after the season, but maybe after they lost to Northwestern, they probably say, hey, this is probably a lost season more than likely anyway. So our starting quarterback is gone for the year. We just lost to Northwestern after losing to a winless UCLA team the week prior. More than likely the season is over. So let's just go ahead and pay this $50 million, get them up out of here, and let's go ahead and rebuild this thing and start fresh and see how we can get this thing back on the right track. But for them to be willing to pay $50 million just to fire you, then I mean that's all you. That no more need to be said after that. That mean that it was time for you to go. So we'll see how things pan out for them. I ultimately think that the season is over. Terry Smith, the assistant head coach, is going to take over for the rest of the year, and we'll see if he can provide some type of spark. And it's still some games left. Just gotta wait and see how these things turn out. But I don't see James Franklin being out of a job for long. Some team is probably going to come along that ends up getting rid of their head coach and bringing him in, or they may hire him as an assistant something. I don't see him being without a head coaching job for long. It just won't be at Penn State. So we'll see what happens from there. Can't wait to see how all things develop and where his future lies. Moving on. So another big talking point after Sunday was Sunday night. The Detroit Lions fell to the Kansas City Chiefs 30-17, but the game wasn't the talking point. The talking point was what happened at the end of the game. So I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all my reaction to that and give y'all my thoughts on it. So Detroit Lions safety Brian Branch has been suspended by the NFL for 1 game without pay for his actions following the Lions' loss to the Chiefs on Sunday night. The Lions Pro Bowl defensive back initiated a fight between the two teams immediately following the Chiefs' 30-17 win when he punched Kansas City wideout JuJu Smith-Schuster. Branch, who will miss the Lions' upcoming home game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Monday Night Football, stands to lose $76,624 for a one-game suspension. He is planning to appeal said suspension, according to NFL media. Branch attributed his actions post-game to building frustration with Smith-Schuster during Sunday night's game. I did a real childish thing, Branch said. I'm tired of people doing stuff in between plays and refs don't catch it. They be trying to bully me out there. I shouldn't have did it. It was childish. Lions coach Dan Campbell called Branch's actions inexcusable during his post-game press conference. He also apologized to Chiefs coach Andy Reid, who said during his post-game presser that Branch had done some pretty good damage to Smith-Schuster's nose without getting into specifics. You guys saw it, Reed said. The guy came up and hit JuJu for what looked like no reason. Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes, who attempted to shake Branch's hand prior to things going awry. Didn't hold back when asked about what happened immediately after the game. We play the game in between the whistles, Mahomes told NBC Sports. They can do all that extracurricular stuff in between the whistles. I thought we played a great game today, and we'll keep this momentum moving forward. Now, in his third season, this is already the 14th time Branch has been fined by the NFL and the 4th time he has been fined this season. Branch's previous fine cost him nearly $130,000 in salary. So my thoughts on that whole situation is, I just feel like it's unfortunate for Brian Branch. Brian Branch is a great player, but you got to be able to keep your emotions in check in certain situations, especially being as though that you are one of the key players on your football team, especially on the defensive side. You're an anchor. You're one of the key players. When people think of the Detroit Lions, they think Brian Branch is one of the players that come to their mind that teams have to scheme for. You're a key player on that defense. You cannot allow your emotions to get the best of you to where you wait till after the game to make a decision, and now it's going to cost you a 1-game suspension. It's also going to cost you money, but it's going to affect your team. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you got to be smart about things. And I'm not saying go out there and get punked, because we know JuJu Smith-Schuster is a jokester. We know he like to play a lot of mind games. So things may have been said or done between the lines, but you got to keep it between the lines, bro. You got to have it in the back of your mind that I'm an important part of this team, and if they lose me, mind you, they already have injuries in that secondary, I believe. So now with you being out, that makes the team, worse on the defensive side than they would have been if you was out there. So I just think you got to be smart, and trust me, I'm one of those type of people that deal with somebody say something to me, I want my get back too. I want to say something or do something at that moment too, but sometimes you got to be smart, especially when you have people depending on you and people that need you. You know what I'm saying? It just wasn't worth it. And now you being suspended 1 game, you about to lose $76,000, and you've lost a total of, you've been fined 14 times by the NFL, totaling $130,000 in salary. Come on, bro. You got to be smarter than that, man. You're a great player. You have big impact on the field when you out there. You just got to be smart and realize how important you are to your team. And, like Patrick Mahomes said, you got to keep it between the lines. You got to keep it between the whistles. If he say something, then do something right then and there. But don't wait till after the game and make a scene, and now it's going to cost you a game, and it possibly could cost your team a game. After losing on the road, now you got to go and play a Tampa Bay team that's hot right now, even though they riddled with a lot of injuries on the offensive side. But Baker Mayfield is playing out of his mind, and now they got to go out there without you, who's a key piece out there. So you just got to find a way to keep your head, man. And I like what Dan Campbell did, getting up there and holding them accountable, because you have to be held accountable when you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. You got to be held accountable for your actions, man. So, he going to have to sit this one out. They say he going to try to appeal it, but I don't see a scenario where he win no appeal. So, he going to miss 1 game, and we'll see if it end up causing the Lions, man. But whatever the outcome is, if they end up losing this game, you got to look yourself in the mirror, bro. You just got to be able to keep your composure and, just think before you make actions, man, because sometimes it just may not be worth it. But I understand. I ain't saying go out there and let nobody punk you or nothing like that. I never say that. But at the same time, the right decision, and you said it was childish. The right decision was never going out there and, causing basically almost a brawl after the game. You don't do that. So we'll see how things play out. And, just go from there. But I don't see him winning no appeals. So more than likely, he going to get that 1-game suspension. And, you just going to have to live with however the outcome is, man. So last but not least, man, I'm going to go ahead and get these week 7 predictions out the way so I can go and get this episode. Not saying like that. Y'all know I love chopping it up with y'all. I'm tired today though, y'all. So we're going to go ahead and get this out the way early. I ain't going to spend no whole bunch of time. We're going to go ahead and try to run through this as fast as possible. So we're going to start with Thursday Night Football. I got the Steelers over the Bengals. Everybody know why. The Bengals dealing with injuries. I got the Steelers in that one. Moving on, you got the 9:30 game. And when are these out the country games gonna be over? I'm tired of waking up at 9:30, man. I mean, it's cool, don't get me wrong, but all right, it's almost time to wrap this up. You got the Los Angeles Rams playing against the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's going to be a pretty good game. I don't know the status of Puka Nacua. I know he got hurt in that Rams game. I got to see what I said Rams, in that Ravens game. So I got to see his status or whatever. I'm going to take the Jaguars in this one. The Jaguars have been playing some pretty solid ball. I'm going to take the Jaguars in that one. Only because I got to see what's going on with Puka Nacua. Next up, you got the Philadelphia Eagles playing against the Minnesota Vikings. This one is tough. I'm going to go Minnesota in this game. I think Philly is still struggling to find their identity on offense. I don't trust Carson Wentz on the offensive side of the ball for Minnesota, but that defense we know is solid and can make some plays, and the Philly offense haven't been able to get things clicking so far this year, so how we used to seeing. So I'm going to go with Minnesota in that one in a close game, but that could be a pick 'em though. Philly could go out there and get their face back after losing to the Giants, so we'll see. Next, you got the New England Patriots on the road playing the Tennessee Titans. I'm going to go with the Patriots in that one. The Patriots playing some good ball. Like I said, we could look up, and the Patriots could be 7-2, 8-2. Now, they after Buffalo losing yesterday, they are now number one in the division. And the Titans just fired their coach, and it looked bad over there. I feel bad for Cam Ward. It looked bad over there. So I'm going to go with the Patriots in that one. Next, you got the Panthers versus the Jets. This is easy. The Panthers coming off a big win versus the Cowboys. They seem to be getting their footing now. Rico Dowdle playing some good ball. Bryce Young starting to look confident. Ted McMillan looking solid. I'm going to go with the Panthers in that one. I think the Jets fall to 0-7. Next up, you got the Miami Dolphins versus the Cleveland Browns. This one is tough because both teams are. I'm going to go with the Miami Dolphins in this one, though. Cleveland is just a dumpster fire. I'm going to go with the Miami Dolphins. Both teams are not really that good, but I'm going to go with the Miami Dolphins in this one. Next up, you got the New Orleans Saints on the road against the Chicago Bears. I'm going to go with the Bears in that one. Hey, watch out for the Bears. Remember before the season started, I said that the Bears was my sleeper team. Was one of my sleeper teams because all they needed was solid play from Caleb Williams. That was a big win they got last night in Washington. Won by 1 point. Even though I felt like if Washington would have limited their mistakes, they could have won that game. But for the Bears to pull that win out, and now this builds momentum, and I think they got kind of like an easy schedule these next couple of games. So, hey, the Bears got a real shot to, make some noise and quietly be up there in the NFC. So, I got the Bears in that one. Next up, you got the Las Vegas Raiders on the road versus the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to go with Kansas City. The Raiders are not good. Geno Smith doesn't look that good. The offensive line, I don't really have to dive too much deep into that. I ain't going to say Geno Smith don't look that good. He don't look good at all. I'm going to go with Kansas City in that one. Next up, this is a good one right here. You got the Indianapolis Colts on the road versus the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm going to go with the Colts in this game. The Colts been playing some real good ball. I spoke on Daniel Jones a couple of episodes ago. He's still playing good. Jonathan Taylor's playing good ball. Defense solid. You know what I'm saying? The weapons on the outside. And the Chargers, for me, the only thing with the Chargers is it's too much inconsistency. You don't know what Chargers you're going to get. 1 week, they look like world beaters. The next week, they don't look good at all. You don't know what you're going to get with the Chargers. And they battling a lot of injuries. So I'm going to go with the Colts on that one, on the road. Next up, you got the New York Giants on the road versus the Denver Broncos. I'm going to go Broncos on this one. Giants had a big win against Philly this past week. That should be a booster. You know what I'm saying? The way that Cam Scatterbo is playing, Dart out there looking solid. But I think that Denver defense and the plays that Denver can make on the offensive side of the ball, even though Denver was kind of in the nip and tuck versus the Jets this past Sunday, but I think in Denver, I think that's gonna be a tough one for the Giants. So I'm gonna go with the Broncos on that one. Next up, you got the Green Bay Packers on the road versus the Cardinals. I'm gonna go with Green Bay. I think Green Bay defense is very good. And again, the same thing I feel about the Chargers is what I feel about the Cardinals. You never know what Cardinals team you're gonna get. Too much inconsistency, especially from the quarterback position with Kyler Murray. So I'm gonna go with Green Bay in that one. Next up, you got America's Game of the Week, the game that I will be in attendance for. You got the Washington Commanders on the road with the Dallas Cowboys. And this one right here is tough because You know, when this Commanders Cowboys, you could throw the records out the window, and you never know what you're gonna get. I do believe that this is gonna be a high scoring game because I don't think neither defenses are very good. I don't think the Commanders defense is ranked higher than the Cowboys. Every defense is ranked higher than the Cowboys, but I think they like 24th, 25th, and I don't know the status of Terry McLaurin. We know one thing: the Cowboys had the number one offense in football. They're gonna have to go out there and put up points. They're gonna have to, like I said, they're gonna have to put up 30 plus in order to be in any game. So will the Commanders be able to match that without Terry McLaurin? I don't know. We know Jaden. You can never count Jaden Daniels out any game. And I think they'll do a little better with the turnovers this week. This is a hard one right here for me. I ain't gonna lie. And for this one right here, I'm gonna have to let my bias take over a little bit. I'm gonna go with the Cowboys. I just think that if the Cowboys can go out there and score enough points, I think the defense is gonna have to find a way to get a stop or two. But I think that this offense is gonna be able to score enough points with CD coming back. I think that they could pull this win out. I think it's going to be a very close game. Like I said, I could easily see this game going into the 30s for both teams. You just watch Washington put up 24 yesterday, so this game could easily get into the 30s. You know, Jaden Daniels and them is coming out there to do so. I'm gonna let my bias take over on that one. I'm gonna go Cowboys, but I think this is a pick'em game too. Next up, you got the Atlanta Falcons on the road versus the San Francisco 49ers. Man, I'm going to go Atlanta in this game on Sunday night. But, you know, it's different watching Atlanta play in Atlanta and on the road. You know, it's two different teams. It's still the same Atlanta team that went to Carolina and scored 0 points. But that was a big win yesterday against Buffalo, coming off of a loss. You know, Buffalo wanted to get their groove back. And, man, Atlanta went out there and looked good. So, on the road versus a 49ers team who also has some injuries. They just lost Fred Warner for the year. You know what I'm saying? Brock Purdy still not back. I'm going to go with Atlanta in that one, but it wouldn't shock me if Atlanta found a way to lose that game either. Moving on to Monday night, I just spoke on Brian Branch's situation. You have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road headed to Detroit, and I hope I ain't misquoted. I might have said Tampa Bay on them going to Tampa Bay. I'm not sure, but this right here is going to be a pretty good game. But I don't know the status of Emeka Egbuka. I don't know if Mike Evans is going to be back. Baker is playing out of his mind. I just think that Tampa Bay is so injury-riddled right now. I'm going to lean Detroit in this game. I think Detroit get their face back this week after losing to Kansas City. And it's just, I would go Tampa Bay, but it's just the injuries. Emeka Egbuka, I believe, is dealing with a hamstring. Those are tricky. You don't know how those pan out. Mike Evans still not back. They just have a lot of injuries on the offensive side of the ball, and Baker can only do so much. I hope Baker go out there and ball out because, like I said, right now I have Baker as my number one in the MVP race. He also on my fantasy team, so that one right there is going to be a real close game. But I'm going to lean Detroit just because of the injuries on the offensive side for Tampa Bay. And next up, you have the Texans. So we have another doubleheader Monday night. NFL, real quick, before I pick this last game. NFL, we got to stop this. Come on, 2 games on Monday night. Man, people got to go to work on Tuesdays. Like, I understand y'all trying to make money and all that revenue and do all this, but come on, man. It's only supposed to be doubleheader Monday nights, week 1, and then after that, it's supposed to be 1 game. You can't give us doubleheader Monday nights and then the 4 o'clock slates be trash. You know what I'm saying? Come on, NFL, tighten up, man. People got to go to work. We can't be staying up. This game on Monday night, Texans at Seattle, they don't start till 10 o'clock. Come on, man. Tighten up, NFL. But in that game, I'm going to go with Seattle. Seattle is another one. They got to get their consistency together, but they playing some good ball. Jackson Smith and Jigba right now is looking like if one of the best, if not the best, one of the best receivers in the league. I believe he's leading the league in receiving yards right now. So they playing good. The Texans haven't really been playing good ball all year. It all depends on what Sam Darnold you get. Seattle just got to get more consistent. But for this game, I'm gonna go with For this game, I'm going to go with Seattle on Monday night, 10 o'clock. I don't know what the NFL was thinking about with that one right there. And I believe Seattle is coming off of a big game. Yeah, they just beat Jacksonville's coming off of a big game against Jacksonville. So I believe they continue it and they win on Monday night. But like, I don't know what the NFL was thinking scheduling these games like this. We had a doubleheader yesterday. You know what I'm saying? I ain't go to bed till almost 12, and come on, NFL, do better, man. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap this episode up, man. I appreciate y'all for topping in with me each and every week. Y'all know what I need y'all to do. Continue to smash that subscribe button. We are on the road to 400 subscribers. Also, do not forget to like this video and share the content when it drops. Follow me on all social media platforms. I appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all next time.